What if I told you that you can manifest financial freedom in just 100 days? And yes, you can do it, but no, it won't happen by working harder, by working longer hours, by sacrificing and struggling. It will work by allowing the universe to guide you through signs and synchronicities. It worked for me and it worked for so many of my clients. But now you might be asking yourself, what exactly do I have to do in order to manifest the financial freedom that I want in just 100 days? Well, that's what I want to show you in this video, and that's why in today's video I reveal what you absolutely must do in the first 10 days of your manifestation journey before you even think about writing down your first affirmation or going into the imaginal act. The AA principle of effortless manifesting that you must apply from day 21 to 35, and without this your efforts will be in vain. How you can, starting from day 51, build Neville Goddard's bridge of incidence in a way that you are effortlessly guided to the amount of money that brings you financial freedom, and how to make sure that day 91 to 100 lead to a spiritual quantum leap for you so that you become a master at drawing anything you want to you. And the first step is by far the most important step that you can take at the beginning of your manifestation journey. But most people are too afraid to go there. And I can totally understand why. Because at the beginning of my manifestation journey, I was scared to even go there. I was scared to look at my brain. No, not because of my gray matter, but I was scared to look at my brain because of all of my limiting beliefs. It was like a horror movie in there. I had all kinds of negative beliefs about my health, about my worthiness, about my self-love, or let's better say the lack thereof. And my brain looked like one big mess. And all I wanted to do is this. I'm ready, let's clean this place out. And in Your Faith is Your Fortune, Neville Goddard describes the importance of this clean-out process. Your whole world may be likened to solidified space, mirroring the beliefs and acceptances as projected by a formless, faceless presence, namely I am. So if what I believed about money, if what I believed about my worthiness to create it, if what I believed about my ability to draw it into my life had an impact on my physical reality, on my bank account statement, something had to change, because my belief system in regards to money could be best described in these words. And yes, it's important to clarify your intention. It's important to know exactly what amount of money you want to draw to you. It's important to know what amount gives you the financial freedom that you desire. However, you first have to do this. You first have to change your paradigm, and your paradigm is anchored deep in your subconscious mind, which means that if your paradigm is based on abundance, you can easily attract abundance to you, because then you will act abundantly, you will behave abundantly, and you will think abundantly. And your paradigm will guide you to the right action steps and to the right thought processes that then allow you to draw the abundance you want to you. If, however, on the other hand, your paradigm is based on lack and scarcity, then it will be impossible for you to manifest any significant amount of money, because you won't behave like an abundant person, you won't act like an abundant person, you won't think like an abundant person, because always remember, our paradigm makes sure that our actions, thoughts and behaviors are always in alignment with our paradigm, and that's the exact signal that you're sending out into the field. And that's why the universe, back then when I had my spiritual awakening in the year 2020, looked at me like this when the universe had a closer look at my paradigm. Oh God. I mean, here's a quick overview about my paradigm in regards to manifesting money when I embarked on my journey to, well, manifest money. For a decade, I was struggling as an entrepreneur, making less than $1,000 a month. As a result, my paradigm was based in the belief that it will just continue like that, because why would it get any better? Because for the last 10 years, that's what I experienced. In the same way, my paradigm was based on me being unworthy of manifesting large sums of money because I had never done it before. And that's why it's so important that you truly emotionally understand the following words that Neville Goddard shared with us in Awakened Imagination. To move into another state or mention necessitates a change of beliefs. All that you could ever desire is already present and only waits to be matched by your beliefs, but it must be matched. For that is the necessary condition by which alone it can be activated and objectified. Matching the beliefs of a state is the seeking that finds, the knocking to which it is opened, the asking that receives. And that's why in the practical context, I want to invite you to write down your limiting beliefs, because only when you become aware of them will you be able to change them. So take a pen and paper after you've watched this video till the very end, and you then write down 3 or 4 limiting beliefs about money that you have, that you can identify, and you then on the other side of the paper or on a new piece of paper, you then write empowering beliefs about money that are the direct opposite of these limiting beliefs. And you then every day, at least 2 to 3 times a day, you repeat these new empowering beliefs about money that you created by transforming your limiting beliefs into empowering beliefs. And in week number 1, in the very first coaching session of my 8-week Abundance Reality Shift coaching program, we're going to go through this process together. And without the next essential step that I'm about to share with you, you will not be able to enter and to stay in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, which is absolutely crucial for your manifestation success. And at the beginning of my journey, I still remember how I wanted change so bad. I wanted financial freedom so bad. But at the same time, I had so much doubt. Even though I was devouring the work of Neville Goddard and Joe Dispenza and Bob Proctor and other spiritual teachers, I still had some doubt within me until I stumbled upon this line in Feeling is the Secret. Call your desires into being by imagining and feeling your wish fulfilled. As the end is accepted, you become totally indifferent as to possible failure, for acceptance of the end wills the means to that end. And when I read this quote, I had the following reaction. Manifest Rex, this is the answer I was looking for. I had to accept the end, and the end was financial freedom. And only because I accepted the end, I am now financially free. And you accept the end in the same way as Neville Goddard described it in the quote I just mentioned. You immerse yourself into the imaginal act in a way that allows you to become immersed in this new reality, so that you become immune to possible failure, because it's no longer a part of your reality. Failure is no longer a part of your reality that you create in the imaginal act. And if you do this from day 11 to day 20, your life will completely change. And now you might be saying, Sebastian, do I really need to go into the imaginal act to manifest what I want? Well, just have a look at what Neville Goddard says. To attempt to change circumstances before I change my own imaginal activity is to struggle against the very nature of my own being, for my own imaginal activity is animating my world. Don't you want to animate your world with pictures that allow you to feel the feeling of being so financially free that you never have to worry about money again, that you can fly business class or even first class, that you can go on the holidays you want to go on, that you can make the experiences that you want to make? And yes, from now always flying business class, I know that they have noise-canceling headphones, which is kind of unfair that you don't get it in economy, but that's why you want to manifest more money. And the only reason why I'm now financially free and why on top of that I'm so abundant that I can fly business class whenever I want is because I fully immersed myself into the imaginal act over and over again, and that's what I invite you to do as well. And of course, in week number 5 of the Abundance Reality Shift coaching program, we're going to practice that together. And now that you immerse yourself into the imaginal act, your manifestation has to flow to you, but only if you also do this. But what if you're not ready to make adjustments, and what if you push discipline away? Then manifesting financial freedom will be almost impossible for you. And no, I am not talking about the kind of discipline that most people are talking about, which is to have the discipline to work 10 to 12 hours a day, to sleep less, and to just fully immerse yourself in your work. Well, I did that in my 20s, and back then I was making less than $1,000 a month, and on top of that I put myself right on an operating table in a hospital. So that's not the kind of discipline I'm talking about. I'm talking about this discipline. Bing! Day 21 to day 35 of your manifestation journey is about establishing the right level of consistency when it comes to your manifestation and meditation practice. And this level of consistency is based on 3 pillars, which is acceptance, adjustment, and discipline. So now let's first have a look at the discipline that you need in order to manifest your financial freedom, with words from Neville Goddard from Awakened Imagination. The world which is described from observation is a manifestation of the mental activity of the observer, but his ideal is not so easily incarnated. In that moment when he ceases to conform to external discipline, he must impose upon himself a far more rigorous discipline, the self-discipline upon which the realization of his ideal depends. What truly matters is the self-discipline to go into the imaginal act again and again, to feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled again and again, to immerse yourself into your new self-concept again and again. And I truly believe, in fact, I know from my own manifestation experience, that 1 hour in the spiritual realm, 1 hour in deep meditation in the imaginal act can be more powerful than 1,000 hours of physical labor, of hard work, because in this 1 hour, the bridge of incidence can be built. In this 1 hour, you might get a direct download, an idea that completely revolutionizes your career, your investment plan, or your business. Now, what about acceptance? At the beginning of your manifestation journey, it's completely normal that you will have doubts and fears and worries, and you're not sure if manifesting works because the signs and synchronicities and the serendipities have not shown up in your reality yet. And in this moment, it's important to accept that this doubt is there, accept that the fear is there. Don't fight it, because remember, what you resist persists. Instead, send these limiting thoughts and these limiting emotions away with love. By loving these thoughts, you take their power away. By giving them love, by saying, thank you for this thought, I love you, but I now am able and ready to let you go. You release the resistance, and by releasing the resistance, you then allow this thought to exit your frame and to float away. Now, what about adjustment? We can look at adjustment in 2 different ways, and one of these ways is mentioned in The Power of Awareness. Attention is forceful in proportion to the narrowness of its focus. That is, when it is obsessed with a single idea or sensation, it is steadied and powerfully focused only by such an adjustment of the mind as permits you to see one thing only. For you, steady the attention and increase its power by confining it. So in order to manifest financial freedom, your mind has to be adjusted in the way that you only see things, people, environments that are in alignment with financial freedom, that you only see financial freedom. And On another level, the adjustment might also be when it comes to your meditation and manifestation practice, that one day you feel more like doing meditation X, the other day you feel more like doing meditation Y, and that is okay. You can mix it up, you can allow yourself to playfully manifest. Always remember that you can adjust your meditation and manifestation practice through the guidance of the universe, because if you go into the imaginal act every day and you feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled every day, the universe will guide you to the practices and the techniques and the meditations that are right for you. Now, after having successfully established your manifestation routine that includes the AA principle of acceptance and adjustments, there is still one thing that about 93% of people who start manifesting with the law of assumption completely forget about, and it works like this. I meditated, I manifested, I affirmed, and yet the abundance was not coming to me. The abundance I so desperately wanted wasn't flowing to me, and it wasn't flowing to me because, well, I desperately wanted it. And by desperately wanting it, I send a signal out into the field that I am not it yet, which means I was not the personification of abundance. I was not the, as Neville Goddard always describes it, I am. And this had to change. In fact, whenever I took a closer look into the mirror, I saw this. I'm not really abundant, I don't know, it's just, no, I'm not abundant at all. In fact, the man I saw when I looked into the mirror was nothing like the man I wanted to be. He did not feel abundant. He did not stand there like an abundant person. He did not dress like an abundant man. He was not the I am of abundance. In fact, me standing in front of the mirror and the reflection in the mirror were the same. We were struggling. We were based in lack, based in scarcity. And of course, from this place, you cannot manifest an abundant reality. It's impossible. And that's why I invite you from day 36 to day 50 to look into the mirror every day and to slowly change the reflection in the mirror. Because in your faith is your fortune, Neville Goddard says, man's attempt to change the world by force is as fruitless as breaking a mirror in the hope of changing his face. Leave the mirror and change your face. Leave the world alone and change your conceptions of yourself. The reflection then will be satisfactory. So please don't ram your fist into the mirror if you want to change something about yourself in the mirror. Don't do this and go, I don't like you, mirror, or I don't like your reflection in the mirror. We're not going to do that. But instead, you look at yourself in the mirror and you ask yourself, how would I stand as the abundant self? How would I walk as the abundant self? How would I dress as the abundant self? What haircut would I have as my abundant self? What thoughts would I have as my abundant self? What feelings would I have? And this is the creation of your abundant self concept, which, if you decide to work with me in my 8-week Abundance Reality Shift coaching program, which you can find out more about by clicking on the first link in the description or by going to affirmation2manifestation.com/abundance, we will work on together. And I will help you to create this new self-concept so that you can step into it. But if you don't stay open to what I'm about to share with you now, everything will collapse like a house of cards. Because when it comes to manifesting, in the beginning of my journey, just like so many other people, I had a completely unrealistic idea of what manifesting truly means and how manifesting works. In fact, when I embarked on my journey, I thought that manifesting means that you simply meditate and then somebody will throw money in your face, or the universe will let money rain from the sky. Does anybody need some money? In fact, I had absolutely no idea how the universe would provide me with the abundance that I wanted. And for a long time, I falsely assumed that manifesting is the complete opposite of taking action. And don't get me wrong, there can be incredible mystical experiences that then lead to breakthroughs, that lead to changes in your life. But more often than not, the bridge of incidents will be built for you with signs, with synchronicities, with ideas, with direct downloads that then lead you straight to your abundant dream life. By you using these signs and using these synchronicities to then take inspired action. And that's why Neville Goddard says in Awakened Imagination, embrace the without within and become one who hears only that which implies the fulfillment of his desire. And all the external happenings in the world will become a bridge leading to the objective realization of your desire. And yes, that's why day 51 to day 65 of your manifestation journey is all about embracing these signs, embracing these synchronicities, embracing these opportunities. And I can't even tell you how many business ideas, product ideas, investment ideas came to me via the bridge of incidents, with a direct download during a meditation, with an idea out of nowhere. And all these things, all these signs, all these synchronicities never came into my life before I started manifesting. And yes, these money-generating ideas that come to you directly from source, they might still require you to take some effort, but it will be effortless effort, if that makes sense. It doesn't take any sacrificing and suffering. You will do everything in such a flow state. It will come to you so easily that you will be amazed at how easy it is to actually make large sums of money and to draw these amounts to you. And that's why Neville Goddard said, in your faith is your fortune. By this law, first conceiving, then becoming that conceived, all things evolve out of nothing. And without this sequence, there is not anything made that is made. Now all you have to do is to walk to the other side, to cross the bridge of incidents where your manifestation is waiting for you. And yes, it might require some action to move over that bridge of incidents, but it will be effortless, it will be inspired. Now, what if I told you that despite the signs, despite the synchronicities, and despite the opportunities that the universe provides you with when the bridge of incidents is built for you, you will realize at some point, at least now that you're watching this video, that you can manifest money even faster by doing this. At the beginning of my manifestation journey, I relied exclusively on meditations, and eventually an inner battle started happening within me. 1 hour of meditation is enough. But what about the remaining 16 hours that we're awake? No, you don't have to worry about these 16 hours. Just do your 1 hour of meditation and everything will be alright. No, this can't be right, because if I go unconscious for 16 hours a day, then this 1 hour of meditation will not be more powerful than the 16 hours that I'm awake and unconscious. Yeah, well, maybe you're right. At some point you have to come to the realization that 1 hour of meditation during the day cannot possibly compete with 16 hours or 15 hours or 14 hours, depending on how much you sleep, of you being awake and having all kinds of negative thoughts, negative beliefs, and negative emotions towards yourself, towards your manifestation, towards your ability to actually manifest it. Because otherwise, you will end up in this situation. All right, my meditation is over. Now it's time to feel like crap for the next 16 hours and to be in scarcity. Yoo-hoo! But how can you manifest with your eyes open? Well, this brings us back to the self-concept and to what Neville Goddard says in The Secret of Imagining. Can you imagine that you have now the kind of a job that you want, the income that would come from it, the fun in the doing of the work? Well, then, walk as though it were true, and, to the best of your ability, believe that it's true. So here's how I manifest abundance with my eyes open. I walk through the world admiring everything that is related to abundance, no matter if it's a sports car, even though I'm not a big fan of driving, but I still admire it. If it's a delicious meal, if it's a luxurious hotel, I admire the abundance in my environment. I also have certain affirmations that I repeat throughout the day that make me feel abundant. I try to walk like an abundant person. I try to stand like an abundant person. I dress in an abundant way. For me, it's my linen shirts. For you, it might be something else. I immerse myself into this abundant reality, and I even do walking meditations, mainly from Joe Dispenza, during which I have my eyes open because I don't want to run against a tree. Am I doing this walking meditation thing right? That's why I invite you to step into your new self-concept and to embrace the idea of manifesting with your eyes open from day 66 to day 80 of your manifestation journey. And once you master the art of manifesting with your eyes closed and with your eyes open, financial abundance is the inevitable result. Now, if you fall into the trap that I'm about to share with you now, which is a trap that so many people fall into, you will lose everything. Yes, then the universe will take everything away from you again, faster than the roadrunner can say, meet me. I still remember the very first manifestation milestone when it comes to manifesting abundance that I set for myself, which was $3,000. And you might be saying now, but that's not a lot. Well, for me back then it was, because I was barely making $1,000 a month, and I basically tripled my income by reaching $3,000. So I thought to myself, I'm gonna do it. And then I went to my mentor coach and I told him about my goal to make $3,000 a month with my businesses, which back then was just one business, but then through all the signs and synchronicities, that's when then multiple businesses came to fruition. And when it comes to his reaction, I will never forget it. He looked at me in the most serious way and he said, double it. And I reacted like this. Are you insane? Doubling it? I'm making 1,000 right now. I can't be making 6,000. No, that's impossible. I mean, boom. And do you want to know what ended up happening? Did I manifest the $6,000 a month immediately? Nope, I didn't. But I manifested more than $3,000. In fact, I manifested, and I will never forget this number, $3,635. That's the amount I manifested in this month. And now you might be saying, yeah, but Sebastian, you failed. You are a failure. You didn't manifest the $6,000 immediately. Well, but within 1 month, I went from $1,000 a month to over $3,000. That was my very first $3,000, or let's say, in this case, even more than $3,000 a month that I ever had as an entrepreneur in my entire life, which I celebrated. I celebrated the living beep out of it. I was like, oh my God, this is so crazy. This is so amazing. And that's exactly why the universe then eventually said this. My son, you are in the right frequency. You will get the $6,000. And yes, because I followed this concept, the universe rewarded me eventually with $6,000 in a month. And then of course way more, and at the moment I'm making more than $20,000 a month. But only because in this stage I of course didn't like my life. But in this stage, when I reached the $3,000, even though I had set the goal of $6,000, I was still incredibly happy and thankful. And that's a mistake that so many people make, and I always call out my clients when they make this mistake. And this absolutely horrible mistake works like this. You set a certain manifestation goal. Let's take $10,000 a month. And at the moment you're making $4,000 a month, and you then want to increase it to 10,000. Then you manifest, you meditate, you affirm, you do all the right things, you change your self-concept, and that's when you then go from making $4,000 a month to $5,500 a month, which in this example right now you have not achieved before, not ever before. And what happens now? So many people, they then say, oh, I didn't manifest correctly, I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve, I don't have what it takes. They completely forget about the fact that they just experienced a breakthrough that they never had before, and that if they would only celebrate this milestone, if they would only celebrate all these different small manifestations on the way to the big manifestation, that then the big manifestation, in this case the $10,000 a month, would easily show up. But because they don't do that, and because they then go like, oh, you know, I mean, maybe I don't have what it takes, meh, manifesting, I just can't do it, while they completely ignore the fact that they just had an incredible breakthrough and that they manifested more money. And this is a mistake I don't want you to make. So celebrate every sign, every synchronicity, every small breakthrough, every manifestation milestone. I mean, up until this day, in any of my businesses, I always celebrate every sale. I always celebrate every small progress, because I know the more grateful I am, because remember, gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. The more grateful I am for every small amount of money that comes to me, the more the universe can reward me with the big amounts of money. And if you're ever tempted to fall into this self-destructive trap, then remember what Neville Goddard said in The Power of Awareness. By persisting in the assumption that you already are the person you want to be, you rise above all doubt, fear, and belief in the power of outside conditions or circumstances, and your world inevitably conforms to your assumption. So when your first small manifestations show up between day 81 to day 90, then make sure that you celebrate every small win and that you persist in the assumption, because then the universe can reward you with your big manifestation. And the last step I'm about to share with you exceeds the realm of manifesting money, but it can also lead to so much more abundance. Because when I achieved my goal of $6,000 a month, I had no idea that it would just take a couple of months for me to achieve $10,000 a month. And then I had no idea that again, it would just take a couple of months for me to achieve $20,000 a month. And what I want to say with that is that the rabbit hole goes deeper, and there's always something beyond that. And that's why from day 91 to day 100, I invite you to ask yourself this question: what's beyond that? Because right now you've reached a point where more and more small manifestations, more and more signs and synchronicities will inevitably flow to you. And then ask yourself, what's beyond that? Because asking yourself this question can lead you on a journey of opening your heart, having mystical experiences, and truly moving the energy in your body and gaining a whole new understanding of yourself, of the world, and how the spiritual realm operates. And in Be What You Wish, Neville Goddard said, "There is nothing wrong with our desire to transcend our present state. There would be no progress in this world were it not for man's dissatisfaction with himself. It is natural for us to seek a more beautiful personal life. It is right that we wish for greater understanding, greater health, greater security." So enjoy transcending your present state over and over again, because the journey never ends. You always manifest if you do it unconsciously or you do it consciously. And these 100 days are just the beginning of your journey. And so many amazing adventures, so much abundance is waiting for you. And if you're ready to embark on this journey of manifesting abundance with me, then you can go to affirmationtomanifestation.com/abundance or click on the first link in the description to find out more about my 8-week Abundance Reality Shift coaching program. Now, what if I told you that I studied Neville Goddard's work for more than 5,000 hours and I've manifested physical healing, abundance, and love with his teachings. And if you are ready to fully immerse yourself in the teachings of Neville Goddard, you can watch this video next.